Ever wondered what really makes the world's money go round? It's not just about banks and stock markets. The global financial system is like a giant, intricate machine with countless moving parts. And today, we're going to break it down. Forget the jargon and complex charts. Let's explore how money, power, and everyday life are all connected in this massive network. At its core, the system's job is simple: to move money from people who have it to people who need it. Think of it as a global marketplace for money. Savers, like you and me putting money in a bank, are the lenders. Borrowers are individuals getting a mortgage, companies expanding their business, or even governments funding public projects. Financial institutions, like banks, act as the middlemen, or intermediaries, making this exchange happen smoothly. So, how do they do it? Let's start with commercial banks. When you deposit your salary, the bank doesn't just lock it in a vault. They keep a small fraction, called a reserve, and lend out the rest. This process, known as fractional reserve banking, is how banks create new money and earn profit from the interest they charge on loans. It's the engine of economic activity, funding everything from your first car to a new local restaurant. But what happens when banks need to borrow from each other? This brings us to the central banks, like the Federal Reserve in the US or the European Central Bank. These are the bankers' banks. They don't serve you and me directly. Instead, they oversee the entire banking system in a country. Their most powerful tool is setting the interest rate. When they lower rates, it becomes cheaper for commercial banks to borrow, which encourages them to lend more, stimulating the economy. When they raise rates, borrowing becomes expensive, which helps to cool down inflation. Think of central banks as the conductors of the national economic orchestra. Now, let's zoom out to the global level. How does money move between countries? This is where exchange rates come in. If a German company wants to buy parts from Japan, they need to exchange euros for yen. The value of one currency against another is constantly changing, influenced by factors like interest rates, economic stability, and trade balances. This currency market, also known as the Forex or FX market, is the largest financial market in the world, with trillions of dollars traded every single day. But it's not just banks and currencies. The financial system also includes markets for stocks and bonds. When you buy a company's stock, you're buying a small piece of ownership in that company. You're betting on its future success. Bonds, on the other hand, are essentially loans. When you buy a bond from a company or government, you're lending them money, and they promise to pay you back with interest over a set period. These markets allow companies and governments to raise huge amounts of capital for big projects and long-term growth. So, we have banks, central banks, currency markets, and stock and bond markets all working together. But who sets the rules for this global game? This is where international institutions like the International Monetary Fund, or IMF, and the World Bank step in. The IMF acts like a global financial firefighter. If a country is facing a severe economic crisis, the IMF can provide emergency loans, but these often come with strict conditions, requiring the country to reform its economy. The World Bank focuses more on long-term development, providing loans and grants to developing countries for projects like building schools, roads, and clean water systems. Now, you might be thinking, this all sounds pretty organized, but what happens when things go wrong? The 2008 financial crisis is a perfect example. It started with risky home loans in the US, known as subprime mortgages. Banks bundled these risky loans together into complex financial products called mortgage-backed securities and sold them to investors all over the world. Everyone thought they were safe, but when people started defaulting on their loans, the value of these securities plummeted. This created a domino effect. Banks that held these assets started to fail, credit dried up, and the entire global system froze. It showed just how interconnected and fragile the system can be. One problem in one corner of the world can quickly spread and become a global catastrophe. In the aftermath of the crisis, regulators around the world introduced new rules, like requiring banks to hold more capital in reserve to absorb potential losses. The goal was to make the system more resilient and prevent a repeat of 2008. However, the debate continues. How much regulation is enough without stifling economic growth? It's a constant balancing act. Let's also talk about the rise of new players. Financial technology, or fintech, is changing the game. Companies are using technology to offer services like mobile payments, peer-to-peer lending, and automated investing, often cheaper and faster than traditional banks. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are also challenging the very idea of money controlled by central banks. They operate on a decentralized network called the blockchain, offering a new way to transfer value without a middleman. While still volatile and controversial, they represent a powerful force of innovation that could reshape the financial landscape in the years to come. So, what does this all mean for you? Well, this giant system affects your life every day. The interest rate on your savings account, the price of imported goods, the value of your pension fund, and your ability to get a loan are all tied to the movements of this global financial machine. Understanding how it works isn't just for economists. It's about understanding the forces that shape our world and our financial futures. It empowers you to make smarter decisions with your own money and to better understand the news and global events. The global financial system is a living, breathing entity. It's a complex web of trust, risk, and regulation that connects billions of people. It's not perfect, and it's constantly evolving, with new challenges and innovations appearing all the time. But by peeling back the layers, we can start to see the logic behind the madness and appreciate the incredible, and sometimes terrifying, power of global finance. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the systems that run our world. Let me know in the comments what topic you'd like us to explore next.